A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. It so happens that it is the first one for the week. We promise to make it worth your while. Well, on the show tonight, we will be talking about, of course, Europa League currently going on. Manchester United giving their fans all kinds of emotional highs and lows. And of course, we'll talk about all the other things happening in your fast-paced, money-spinning, and rewarding world of sports. We look at what is happening with football on the domestic scene. Then again, we'll also take some reactions from the matches concluded in the UEFA Champions League. Well, we urge you to sit back and relax as we take you along on this ride. Well, it's a two-man show. My colleague Austin Akman is suited and ready as we go along on this trip.
What a greetings to you, Yemi, and of course, everyone joining us on the show tonight. It's always an action-packed world of sports, action going on in the Europa League. You mentioned Manchester United. Manchester United, what's going on? First 20 minutes, Marcus Rashford with a double. And then we thought Manchester United were going to hold on to that. But FC Porto clapped back. I particularly like the goal scorer of the second goal for FC Porto, Samuel Omorodion. That name has been on Nigeria's radar. That's a good player. Maybe someday he might just be playing for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So at the moment, it's FC Porto 2, Manchester United 2. Big game going on in the Europa League. We'll continue to monitor it on the show tonight.
Yes, of course, we will continue to monitor it. And of course, Europa League and UEFA Champions League provides us the opportunity to see people with Nigerian names, and we begin to wonder where they've been all our lives. And also just mentioned one or two names. All right, in our Lagos studio, we have Bolo Moni, and he joins us this lovely Thursday evening. Bolo, greetings to you. Thanks for finding time to be with us on the show tonight. And what a day to talk sports.
Well, it's interesting to be here again. We saw crazy results in the UEFA Champions League yesterday. Aston Villa maintaining 100% record against Bayern Munich, Real Madrid losing, Atletico Madrid being trashed. And even today, we're already seeing excitement in the UEFA Europa League. Man United going 2-0 up, like Austin rightly said, equalizing. That's the beauty of football. But obviously, we are here not just for football, beyond football, sports in general. So I'm sure we're going to enjoy the ride tonight.
Yeah, we definitely will enjoy the ride. All right, let me just quickly allow Austin start the conversation around this one. The monthly awards, Nigerian Football Federation told us a while back they were going to start this, and now it is out. It's been released. Your thoughts initially when you saw some of the names on this list, and what impact you think will have this monthly awards we have?
I mean, you could just, okay, the NFF monthly awards. Okay, I like this one, because we've been saying, look, there's a need to, celebrate excellence in Nigeria's football, and of course, players and what they do. With awards, I try not to say, oh, this is this and that is that. I just love the fact that this sort of, concept is being embraced by the NFF, and I want to make it a monthly affair. It will some way or the other, encourage, boost morals, tell players that, look, somebody is watching now, and if you do well, they're going to, honor you, and that might just, be the push that you will need to take your footballing career to the next level. So I think it's good. I just want to see how they will go on with it here. That's what I'm particular about. We'll definitely have players who will make the list, and will come here and talk about players who are good enough that didn't even make the list. So I will just celebrate whoever wins the award, but I'm having my eyes fixed on the NFF to see if they will meet the long-term objective, to see how they will go about with planning and organizing, and of course, the general transparency that will come out of this NFF monthly awards, Yemi.
Bolu, your thoughts? I'm about to go up to the screen to reel out the names. And like Austin said, that's the agreement we've always had with awards. Here and there could always be one or two names you feel should be there, but I usually don't like argue about these things. But your immediate reaction And what do you think will be the impact of these awards?
Well, for this, it's at least good that they are taking action. They told us about this, was it 2 or 3 years ago, and it fizzled into thin air. This time around, they've come, said it's going to be a monthly one. I hope we have huge focus on the NPFL as well, because the foreign-based players, they don't need award to be superstars. They are, for someone like Boniface, already scoring in the Champions League. We know Osimhen already. We know Lookman already, front runner for the Europa League. I hope there will be much attention on the NPFL. But at least I like that they've kickstarted this one. Hopefully it won't die a natural death. The consistency is the key, not just starting. You can start anything today, but if you call it every month, it has to be constant. I think it's going to be a push for players as well, especially the women. We put almost every attention on the men, especially Super Eagles players, but for the women, little or no attention. But now that there are also categories for the women, and the goals, I'm sure many women will probably win more because they see more crazy goals in the women's game. So I like that they've come out this time and they've decided to kickstart it, hopefully to continue and survive through the test of time.
All right. Let me just quickly go across now and look at the names that have made the list. We're looking at the male player of the month and, of course, the female player of the month. Right there on your screen, the NFF Monthly Football Awards, male player of the month. And no surprise, the list starts with Victor Boniface, Bayer Leverkusen. He's played 6 matches, 3 goals, and, of course, 1 assist so far. Victor Osimhen of Galatasaray, 6 games, 3 goals, 3 assists. Demola Lookman, the guy a lot of people feel probably is the African Footballer of the Year in waiting. We'll see what happens with that. And Wilfred Ndidi of Leicester City, 5 games, 0 goals. You don't expect goals from Wilfred. Assist 4. That's what you would expect him to do. Josh Magda for West Brom is doing a lot of good things. 3 games, 3 goals, and of course 0 assists. So these are the ones for the male player. Let's just quickly look at the field. So we talk about everything together. We'll flip quickly and look at the ones for the female. All right. So you have Rasheedat Ajibade of Atletico Madrid. She's played 4 matches, scored 5 goals, 2 assists. Rusa Rio, also 4 games, 4 goals, 0 assists. Chiwendu Iezuo, she plays for Pachuca. She scored 5 goals and, of course, in 3 matches, 0 assists. Some other names also, you have Chiamaka Nnadozie, the goalkeeper, 3 clean sheets out of 5 matches. I mean, that's a good one. Risola Babajide, she plays for Tenerife. Of course, 4 matches, 2 goals, and 1 assist. All right. But let's start from what is currently on the screen, because, like you said, we tend to focus on the guys and leave the ladies out. So let's start with the ladies before we yield back to Austin. We are not in a position to say who wins, who, but is there anybody you feel this person should at least get a mention? We're not talking about who should win, but is there somebody who should get a mention that you think?
If I mention, almost everyone will talk about the greatest African player, probably male or female, aside Oshoala. She had a poor start to life at BFC, but she's picked up. But there's no need for, we don't even need that Saturday. I think we have good lists on it, even though I would have thought, okay, maybe A and B could win based on we don't put attention on goalkeepers. Nnadozie, literally the best player in France, both keep outfield and the goalkeeper. So nominations, there will always be favorites. There will always be 1 or 2 players everyone would think A should be there, B should be there. But based on what we have, I hope the panel can vote true and true based on performance, based on what we see, not just, I think I like Yemi more than Austin, let me vote for Yemi. No, if you vote to them, they've told us that fans and journalists will be the ones to vote. So I would love everyone to vote based on the performance, and at least the first edition, let it come and go. Then from subsequent ones, we can now start thinking, okay, let's put in more impact than we are doing.
All right, let me quickly yield to Austin, get his thoughts on this one. Your thoughts on the ladies quickly.
Yeah, I like it. I love the fact that we have an opportunity to talk about the men and also talk about the ladies. Some of the names that we've seen there, household names, Chiamaka Nnadozie, I particularly like what Risola seems to be doing lately. Chiwendu Iezuo is also a very good, player right there. So I like that Rasheedat Ajibade's goal. I love her composure, love the way she took out the defender, and how she was calm in her finish. And of course, she took an opportunity to also give thanks to God because she's a Jesus baby. So everything about the goal was good, from the goal to the celebration. As I said earlier, I wouldn't say, oh, this should be worthy of, winning the awards, or this name should be there and it's not there. I just like the fact that we have an opportunity to celebrate excellence every month. That's the good part of it. I also like the discovery of the month. That's a very, very good one. And that's where, for instance, I could say, I'd like to see more names. I'd like to, we saw this guy, would like to see him in that mix also. Let's find a way to celebrate, Nigerians doing big things all over the world. I'll be talking about Victor Olatunji lately. I like that his name is on that list also. So it's a pretty good one here. I look around and all of the names that I see for this monthly award, are names that we associated with football. Some people will not even know that, some of these names are actually Nigerian names and people would like to play for the motherland. So this sort of awards, by the time it starts gathering momentum and the players start appreciating it, you'd see that it can actually be a pathway towards the development of football in Nigeria.
Yeah, great. All right, we need to go on a quick break. And of course, let me just quickly say before we go on that break, heartbreak for Manchester United fans. Porto now leading 3-2. Let's go on that break. We'll come back for more. Welcome back. We're still on the NFF Monthly Awards, and it's time to take a look at the discovery of the month. And Austin has, of course, mentioned some of the names you will see on that list. So I just on my back, reel out the names, then we'll talk about this interesting up-and-coming players. Some we already know, some we're getting to know it. And of course, Geoffrey Shinedu plays for Astana. He scored 5 goals in 6 matches. Abdulrahim Taiwo, he plays for FC Helder. Of course, he has 5 goals, and that's in 3 games. Yusuf Otubanjo plays for Punic. He scored 4 goals, has 1 assist, all of that in 5 matches. Victor Olatunji plays for Sparta Praha. In 3 matches, he scored 2 goals and 1 assist. And this list could be bigger, I tell you. Nigeria is just springing up everywhere, and it's interesting. It's interesting. It's a headache for the coach because everybody can play at the same time. But for us as journalists, as fans, give us a lot to report on. And this is one of the things that makes us happy. It's one of the segments of the awards that probably no arguments.
This is probably the segment of the award. It feels like just every Tom, Dick, and Harry can be named there. They have, like you rightly said, Nigerians playing everywhere. So I think there has to be clear-cut criteria on what we are doing. I'll still go back to the NPFL. We can come home and do some. For example, I can't remember who scored a hat-trick on match day 1 or match day 2. That could be a discovery. So are we going everywhere we see any name that has to do with Nigeria? If we're going about that, we could pick one area, like you rightly said. In England alone, we can pick discovery of the month every day in England, and we will not end. So I think there has to be clear-cut rules that, these are the players. Will they be the ones that have played for Nigeria alone, or anybody that has a Nigerian name?
Just make us understand.
Exactly. So we need to know who we're looking at for. So there may be errors from those choosing, and we can easily tell them, no, this one has just maybe, for example, someone like Michael Olise could play for about 3 or 4 countries. Are we going to pick someone like that? Now we know it's French international, but if he had not played for France, are we going to pick someone like that? We have many players that's played underage games for different countries. So I think there has to be criteria, especially for this discovery, because there are too many Nigerians spread across broad. If we share Nigerian players for every country in world football, we will still have more than enough. So I think that's the one that may be a bit tricky.
Let me throw this in. Austin is listening, and I'm very sure he's going to say something about it. Do you feel that we've neglected the guys on the domestic scene? Do you feel they should mix it up with the guys on the domestic scene, or create something totally different from what do you think should be done?
It's a two-way thing. If they don't want to mix them up, like we've seen it. For example, I said I've seen forward players with 2 goals. We have players with more than 2 in the NPFL. That can be selected as well. So if we can't blend both of them, let's create something and let's create it now. Don't tell us that we want to try out what it will look like, then come home. Nope. Like many have said, we need to groom our own. I say it every time. There is no way in lifetime, some 10 years, even 5 years ago, that you compare South African League with NPFL leagues. There's no way, but they built it so much. They built brand, they built everything. Now they have the best clubs. Some of them. You look at Mamelodi Sundowns, if you look at the Soweto Derby, if it gives you the feeling of El Clasico, they are not good like that. At least we know Kaizer Chiefs are good. They are not that good, but they built the brand. Why? Because they sell themselves well. We need to know, if you don't want to mix both of them, there's no problem. But you have to create something that has NPFL players involved. Maybe NNL may still be lower. You're looking at the second, third tier, but the number 1 league itself, there has to be a way. That's why I feel, especially this discovery, I feel there could be some NPFL players that should be mentioned. So we need to know what the criteria is, and we'll know what to criticize and what to support.
Let me allow Austin. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, and we're about to go on the break. So let me just allow Austin unpack whatever he wants to unpack in all that Bolu has said.
I totally agree with Bolu, Yemi. And at the start of my analysis, I tried so hard not to bring any form of criticism. I just, want to say well done to the NFF for thinking about the development of football with a monthly award. But you need to look inwards. You need to find a way to encourage what's going on right now in the NPFL. For instance, last month, Plateau United Victor Dawa scored a stunning goal. I had to go on my socials to start promoting these players because I was like, these are beautiful goals. People should be seeing it. It would have been nice if the NFF have some of those names in discovery of the month, or even, carve out a separate award to celebrate those guys. Uche Owonsonaya of Shooting Stars scored a beautiful goal also in that game against Plateau United. Those were beautiful talking points that we can easily talk about. We're celebrating Super Sub Kabri Abdullahi. Last month, he was coming on as a sub 5 minutes to the end of the game, and he was scored 3 goals in 3 matches. This is me talking about Nigerian players in the NPFL, and I'm based in London. So imagine if the NFF decides to give it enough attention to even invest in promotion, in publicity of the shining examples in the NPFL. That's what we're talking about. You need to think inwards. You need to find a way to project, amplify voices, particularly the positives. Because now when you do the negatives and the media tries to balance it, then I start getting phone calls. Oh, it's just the negative part of the league you guys are talking about. Oh, you guys don't want to encourage what we're doing. But now you're doing an award and we're not seeing anything that mentions players that are playing back home. Not a good one here. I understand that the NFF don't want me to say this, and they've not even started giving out the awards, but it is what it is. Bolu, you made a great point, and I corroborate with what you said, that the NFF truly should have looked at the players in the NPFL and find a way to, encourage them for the efforts they are putting. That's it. Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Let's go on this quick break. Now, when we come back, more troubles for Manchester United. I'll tell you, don't go anywhere. Stay.
Welcome back. Just to quickly let our viewers know that immediately after this introduction, on the DSTV platform, our viewers will be seeing the program Inside the Niger Delta with Mahmoud Akoga. But of course, on the other platforms, we will continue with what we're doing right now, which is Sports Tonight and Talking Sports, looking at all the interesting angles. So, of course, you would expect maybe in a few seconds on the DSTV platforms, you will be on to Inside the Niger Delta. All right, so that's it. So let's move on now on the show. Bolu, rescheduled games. Saw quite a few games. Still early days. But are things beginning to take shape in your mind after seeing 4 sets of matches all around?
Well, I decided of seeing that 2 teams I wish could win the NPFL, and incidentally, both of them are first or second. That's Remo Stars and Europa League. The Remo Stars, for what they've done since they joined the NPFL, they've been pushing hard, showing everybody what their private investments could do in the NPFL. And Rivers United, if for nothing, for Finis Joe to tell everybody that he's not a dollar, like many people thought that he knows nothing about football, that what I did with Enyimba was a fluke, I can do it again. And Enyimba as well, many thought they had a poor start. The only loss so far this season was against Vinicius Rivers United. Now they pushed themselves after winning in midweek to third. They only go by Onyemechi. And the game amongst all this one that was surprising has to be the match between Bedell Insurance and Shooting Stars at the Ogbemudia Stadium. 93 minutes, it felt like the game went goalless. Then boom, 94, they got the only goal. And interesting themselves, Shooting Stars and I think Abia Warriors, 3 of them have the same points. The same goals conceded, the same goals scored, the same points, the same wins, same draws, same losses. Still early days, but NPFL, if you want to start picking away points especially, it is between now and match day 10. And we've seen over 10 away games in the NPFL.
Because at that point, it begins to reduce.
Everyone starts focusing on 200% points at home.
All right. Let me just quickly go across now, look at the rescheduled games. We'll also try to look at the table. Early days yet, but in any case, we'll still look at what it is after match day 4. Rescheduled games, the result, Nigeria Premier Football League, the Flying Antelope, of course, Rangers International beat Bielsa United 1-0. Then you have Bedell Insurance, the game Bolu so happily described at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, 1-0. Of course, 2 traditional teams in the NPFL, Bedell Insurance beating Shooting Stars. Then you have your Aba Elephants, Enyimba, playing against the Promise Keepers, who these days don't keep promises too well. Of course, also victory for the Aba Elephants, talking about Enyimba, so it was 1-0 in favor of Enyimba. So let's quickly look at the table now, the top 4, bottom 4, look at it, and we'll talk around it before we move on the show tonight. There you have it. Bolu also talked about this, and so I just quickly run through it. The Remo Stars leading there, having won all their matches, 12 points from 4 matches, closely followed by Rivers United with 10 points. Aba Elephants, that's the Enyimba, in the top position with 9 points. The Niger Tornadoes making up the top 4 with 8 points. Incidentally, Niger Tornadoes have not lost. 2 wins, 2 draws. That's why they're there. Bottom 4 quickly. Bottom 4, this is what it looks like. In the bottom, you see the teams now. Early days yet, but probably we'll get to that in a bit. And so let me just quickly yield to Austin. You were waxing lyrical about some of the goals that you've seen and some of players that are worthy of mention. What are the other things you've seen after 4 sets of matches all around by all the teams?
Yeah, just as Bolu said, it's still early days, but you can tell that if you take a look at the top 4, you appreciate what it means to start winning early in the NPFL, because that can actually define or redefine your season. For instance, we would have thought that Niger Tornadoes will be on that top 4. It's easy. They won 2 matches away from home. They won their first game against Kwara United, and I think they also defeated another team just, I think, 2 match days ago to get their second away win of the season. So they've been pretty decent. Remo Stars, 4 wins in 4 matches, and they are not smiling. They just want to keep it going. Rivers United, same thing, but for that draw that they had, they would have been tied on 12 points with Remo Stars. Enyimba, we know Enyimba and the pedigree that they have in the league, defending champions. It was a very humbling experience when they went to Port Harcourt to take on the side of their former coach, Finidi George, and Rivers United. We saw some beautiful goals in that game also that ended 2-0 in favor of the Pride of Rivers. Ubong Friday scored a beautiful goal. The volley, still have it right here on my head. So we've seen beautiful play in the NPFL. I was expecting Shooting Stars after that win, that first win of the season against Heartland, that they can go out there and do something. But I think they can claim fatigue, yeah, because I mean they were playing just over the weekend, and now they had to play another one with Bendel Insurance that really needed to win, and Bendel Insurance did just that to win the game. Rangers also needed to bounce back after that, should I call, painful defeat that they suffered in the Kenya against Remo Stars. Again, another mind-blowing goal scored by Raymond Tochukwu in that game against Rangers that ended 2-1 in favor of the Rangers, the Remo Stars team. So I like it. Aqua United, I tried so hard not to talk about that loss to Eimba. Same Aqua United struggled to start properly. And by virtue of that win for Eimba against Aqua, it puts Eimba in a good place to start saying, yes, their season is on the go. And if you take a look at the top four, I said, easy peasy, that will change all day, every day. You know, the NPFL, when teams get into their rhythm and start winning, maybe when we get to match day 10 and Remo Stars shows the level of consistency that I've seen, Rangers probably bounce back and start winning the way they did last season and kept it going till they won the league. And then Eimba show us that, look, we're not in this league to, see somebody take the title that we are known for. Then we can start saying, okay, the league is taking shape for relegation teams. Maybe Heartland, can start winning now if they want to stay in the league. Ikorodu City also. In all, it's just 4 matches played in the NPFL. I've seen beautiful things to talk about. I love it.
Yeah, some beautiful things to talk about. All right, let's continue along that line. Sports development now. They just concluded university games, African university games. There were a lot of games. And we'll listen to critical stakeholders talk about the gains. Well, without really wasting time, let's listen to the National University Games president talk about the gains of the African University Games, and looking ahead to some of the things that could be of benefit in the years to come.
Please, first, second, and third to take photograph. Meanwhile,
we have seen Teaming Youth of Africa uniting, cutting across borders, languages, tribe, barriers. They have stayed for 10 days without a single instance of disagreement. They have mutual respect, they have made friends, they have leadership training, and above all, the technicality done in the game is first class. There was no dispute in terms of officiating. We got the best hands, and then the technology. I want to say in Africa, apart from South Africa, nowhere video assistant referee is deployed, but it's deployed in this game. So a record has been set. It's a challenge to me as president of NUGA to try to do it during the NUGA game so that I don't draw the standard. So this game is memorable and historic. Because of the time it took the games to come back to Nigeria, 20 years. The last time it was in Nigeria is 2004. So because of that, and we felt it may take another long time before it comes around. And since there are 2 universities in Lagos, we felt the 2 of them should co-host so that they benefit from it. Not because any of them will not hold individually, but because of the fear that the game may not come back early. But co-hosting have a very serious challenge. If you remember, FIFA tried it in Korea, Japan hosting. And since then, they never do any co-hosting. So co-hosting is a very serious challenge. FASU tested it, but I don't think they will visit it anytime soon.
All right, you listen to Baha Mohammed, president of NUGA, sharing his thoughts there. Bulu, quick one. We really don't have much time, but you listen to him talk about unity, bringing Africa together, the gains. There was no commotion. As you would expect, sports is that's what entails in sports. But the gains, he talked about the gains as well. And one of our colleagues jokingly said he's happy that he was in Nigeria, because if he wasn't in Nigeria, maybe. But that's just for laughs anyway.
Yeah, I like the fact that it was held in Nigeria, and the first time ever 2 universities co-hosted it, and incidentally both universities finished on the podium.
Yeah.
And he explained after the event that the Egyptian school won for university, but by country, Nigeria had more medals and everything, so it was Nigeria that later ended winning the competition. So it's good for this. I always say that I went to the Nigeria Private University Games. I represented my school. I know what it feels like to represent your school. That's why I tell people to represent your nation. It's a different feeling. I know what it feels like to represent a university. Now imagine representing your country. That's why when people say, wait till I want to play for Nigeria, I say, that's your business. You don't know what it means to rep your country. And it also shows that we have talent as well. If I was the federation president and my sport was being played at the event, I would be going there to look out for one or two talents to pick from, especially from the Nigerian representative. Lasso finished second, Unilag finished third. It means those guys had something. There was a time in the Super Eagles where some players were just picked from events like this, the Principal's Cup and the like. So hopefully we were able to. Now we've had two competitions or events: the National Youth Games and this FASU Games. If we can't pick talent from any of these ones, well, I think we'll just end up becoming only a football nation.
Yeah, we're probably not a sporting country if we can't do that. All right, let's move on the show now. It's time to take a look at, of course, matches that have been completed in the UEFA Europa League. I'm just going to quickly go across to look at the matches concluded. Of course, it's misery for United fans. They could barely watch what is currently going on with their team and Porto. Some saying maybe this might just be curtains for Erik ten Hag. We'll see. But I'll just quickly go across now. And the games that have been concluded, Ferencváros and Tottenham. Tottenham won that game. Chinedu Oguge's former club, that's Hoffenheim, beat Dynamo Kiev 2-0. Then you have Galatasaray, of course, without our man, playing a 2-2 draw with their opponent. Slavia Prague played a 1-0 draw with Ajax. And Lazio continue with their impressive form of late, defeated Nice. Maccabi Tel Aviv, of course, lost to Midtjylland 2-0. Olympiacos hammered Braga, the Portuguese side, by 3 goals. Then you have Karabag losing to Malmo 2-1. Real Sociedad, surprise, lost to, of course, Belgian side Anderlecht. Some of these clubs used to be big while we were growing up, but, Club Brugge, Anderlecht, some of these Belgian clubs, but not so anymore. All right. Let me go to Austin. I'll talk about these games. And, what are you hearing about Ten Hag? I'm very sure a lot of very furious Manchester United fans probably entering your DMs, sending you messages, and saying all sorts. And we joked in the studio, Ten Hag is probably somewhere sipping tea with the owners of United. You never can tell.
The other day I was saying that it has to be marriage, this sort of relationship that the board of Manchester United have with Erik ten Hag. Just before his contract was renewed, the Manchester United fans thought it was game over for him, but because he won the FA Cup, they said, no, this man is our man. And I think 2 weeks ago, Manchester United fans, they were, crying again, and the board said, look, this guy's got confidence. He's not going anywhere, and at the moment, they are trailing by 3-2 against FC Porto. The game is now in the 75th minute. It might just be, I don't know if they will say, look, we are done, but they will definitely have a crucial meeting if Manchester United do not get something out of this game. But the good news again, Samu Omorodion scored the 3rd goal. So it's a brace now for that young man with a Nigerian name. So I've been careful. I don't want to rush and call him a Nigerian player yet, but I love the goal here. He ran with Pepe, displaced his marker, and then boom, finished so well. So it's FC Porto 3, Manchester United 2. On local radio, every day all we hear is Erik ten Hag out. They want him out badly. Even some former players don't even like talking about Ten Hag anymore. They believe that the team is struggling because they have a bad coach. But hey, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. And so the guys dictating the tunes at Manchester United, they say Erik ten Hag is their man. Will he still be their man if they don't win against FC Porto tonight? Maybe we'll know tomorrow,
All right, let's talk about Aston Villa. The Villa fans surely don't want this man to go. He's been doing the right thing. So I'll clearly talk about Aston. I'm very sure you'll make us listen to Unai Emery as well. But he has turned things around. There's nothing else left to be said.
And that's what fans of Manchester United in England are also saying, that look at how Unai is managing this Aston Villa team. And if you check the level of consistency that Villa seem to be showing from last season till the way they started it this season, I'm taking on Bayern Munich, a traditional, strong team in the UEFA Champions League. Easy peasy, that game would have ended Aston Villa 3, Bayern Munich 0. But football said, okay, it will end 1-0. And the way they approached the game with confidence, played as a team, stayed together as a unit, made little errors, went toe-to-toe with Bayern Munich, didn't give them any form of respect, didn't give them, space to even strategize. You can tell that Unai Emery is working with this team, getting to know the players every time they step on the pitch and knows the right tactics to deploy. Let's listen to Unai Emery, and he said it clearly that they were strategic in that victory against Bayern Munich.
Proud of our work, proud of how we are here, more or less getting better, increasing our level, increasing our demands. And our demands tonight was before the match to face them and try to be more or less competing with the possibilities to draw or to win, or even if we were losing, try to lose like we lost against Arsenal 3 weeks ago, competing and playing with our style, playing personality. And then you can win like today. We can win, we could lose as well. It depends. Some save of Emiliano Martinez, some action individually like John Duran. But really, I am very, very proud of everything around Aston Villa.
So that's it. Unai Emery saying that, look, we're strategic. We go back after we lose the game, re-strategize and take it. And he said he's proud of his team. Bolu, when you put Manchester United and Aston Villa side by side, do you agree with the fans in England that it's a coaching problem that is dealing with Manchester United?
It has to be obvious because if you look at the quality individually, especially looking at what these guys did before they joined, not all, but many of them, you think these guys are not done yet. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo was the problem. He's enjoying his life in Saudi Arabia. Now look at Sancho, was said to be the problem. He was brilliant for Dortmund. Now he's enjoying himself at Chelsea. Almost every player he's had 1 or 2 challenges with when they've left. They're doing so well for the club. So you ask yourself, I said if a manager is having a problem, maybe 1 or 2 players, you can say those players are the problem. But if you're having with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, then you have to look at the manager. When you look at the substitutions they make, I tell you, anybody can set up a team. But the in-game decisions are the things that separates the best from the rest. For example, you are taking on Porto. You are down by a goal. You are taking on a defender, bringing on Maguire. Whereas you need goals. We've seen Premier League games where he will need to score. He will take out a 4th player and bring on defenders. It doesn't show elite from the manager. The only saving grace that kept him on the job was defeating Manchester City in the FA Cup. Then United fans kept asking, why can't we play like this every week? He went to buy the Bulls on in that match final against City. He went head-to-head with them and they won. Then why don't they produce performances like that week in, week out? For banter, I want him to remain. But if he loses this game and he fails to beat Aston Villa over the next weekend, he may not stay till Monday.
I think so too. Sweet victory for Unai Emery and Aston Villa. On the other side, for Vincent Kompany and his Bayern Munich team, it was a bitter experience. Let's listen to Kompany.
If they resist and if they're able to defend well, because it's not just us having big chances, it's them defending well as well, then you always know that you can have a moment, and football is like this. If you don't take your chances, it can happen. I think when it comes to winning or losing, you don't need to take the context of so many years into it. It's just we lost the game, and the game has its own story, we had big chances, didn't score them. We gave away a moment, and in that moment, Aston Villa, obviously scored a goal. And I understand the occasion it was for the opponent today, and of course it's a special night for them, but it doesn't decide the Champions League today. So we have to take our learnings from this game, and I'm convinced that we're the type of team that will score the goals more often than we want. But tonight, that's the story of the game.
It is what it is. One side must win, the other must find a way to pick themselves up. If they don't, I mean, it's the UEFA Champions League. It's a new format for Aston Villa. This is a refreshing experience for them. And I think with what they showed yesterday against Bayern Munich, then they're a team that is definitely growing.
They are. Whether or not they can produce this every European night is something else that we'll have to wait to see. But the night belonged to them, and they had to enjoy it. Well, I'm hearing voices in my ear telling me that Bruno Fernandes just got red carded. So I'm very sure I will be corrected if I'm wrong, but that's what I'm hearing. So apparently, if that's the case, then it just got from bad to worse for United. We'll see what happens with that one. It's very difficult to see how Ten Hag will escape this, especially if he leaves this game with a loss. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're supposed to be talking about the Champions League, but here we're talking about a manager who seems to be on the ropes. But we'll see. It's not looking too good.
Just to confirm that you're very correct, Bruno Fernandes, second yellow card and a red, and now he has been shown a red card. It's gone from bad to worse for Manchester United. They need to just try to ensure that they don't concede a second goal. I'm sure FC Porto will want to give it a final press now to see if they can, put some woes into Manchester United and their Europa League campaign. But we'll see. But yes, you're very correct. Red card for Bruno Fernandes.
All right. As we go, Arne Slot, the Liverpool manager, some said the honeymoon is over, but it seems his honeymoon is back on. He's different from Jurgen Klopp, even though we don't have much time to discuss this. But he has steadied the ship. But quickly, in a few seconds, it looks to me he's trying to do something different with the same set of players, and it looks like the ship is steady.
It felt like that loss to Forest was a blip. Since then, before that, they were brilliant. Since then, they've been brilliant as well. Some will still say early days, but it's better to start early than to start poor and try to catch up with others. And they're top of the Premier League table, very narrow, but the earlier for them, the better. So even if they end up not winning, they will be chasing Champions League slots. They will be somewhere balanced. So far, so good for him. Let's see how far he can go with all competition now that there are much more games than Liverpool were playing before.
All right. So I guess that's the most we can take. Let me you to Austin as we prepare to go. We'll see what happens. Some are saying, let's see him in the big games, the tests. Let's see against the Arsenals, against Manchester City and all the others. We'll see. But for now, he's doing well.
He is doing well. And with the Premier League and the Champions League, is against those small teams that you test your character. And that's what he has done. Some will say, was it not Boyogna that they played? But yes, that's a potential banana peel, and they scaled it comfortably. And they are building confidence match after match in the Premier League. For a new manager, I think Slot is doing just fine. And this Liverpool team is one that nobody should underrate. At FC Porto is still 3-2 in favor of FC Porto. Let's see if Manchester United will leave it that way or add more woes to their season. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakman. In everything you do, remember to keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Well, it's a wrap here in Lagos. But first, I want to thank Bolo Money for his time on the show.
So it's a pleasure coming on.
All right, that's the show. Before we go, we're going to leave you with the best of tennis. Best tennis players on the court. Yannick Sinner up against Carlos Alcaraz, China Open final. Enjoy the highlights. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.